My name is Derek Axten. I farm with my family near Minton, Saskatchewan. It's a fourth generation operation. We've had the land in the family for about 100 years. We are located very near the US border, straight south of Regina. We grow a lot of heritage grains and a lot of intercrops. Our farm this spring will seed a little over 10,000 acres. We started making changes probably 13 or 14 years ago, and prior to 2010, we had been mid-row banding our nitrogen. Urea was the form, and then when we discovered intercropping in 2011, we just decided to not use nitrogen on those acres, and we didn't see a huge difference. So, and those acres then by 2015 kind of became half of the farm. We had just seen the possibilities of what it can do without the urea, and then in 2016 we stopped using, we changed seeders, didn't have mid-row banders, and changed our nitrogen source. We're using ammonium sulfate now, small amounts. Our typical growing season we use 20 units of N total. We've been doing that since 2016, and crops seem to be responding well. Our current nitrogen management strategies, our farm is swap mapped. We believe strongly in variable rate application of as many things as we can. Our soils are highly variable. We have organic matter levels that range from 2% hilltops to 6.5%, 7% low spots, so it's significant difference. Obviously require different management. Our yields have been surprisingly stable and the last couple of years increasing. The other side of that is that our protein levels have been coming up over time. This has taken us quite some time. I mean, we've been at this for sort of 15 years of change, and we did a lot of things wrong along the way. I mean, it definitely wasn't a straight A to B by any means with a biological system, because I mean, you're really turning around a freight train or a steamship or whatever metaphor you like to use, but this isn't it's not a Ferrari. We're happy with the change we've seen. Obviously, we'd like it to be better. I mean, I don't think that soil health has a finish line. So cover crops seem to be a bit of a moving target for us. We put as much effort into them as we can every year, and some years that means significant amount of acres. If we have good conditions in the fall, we have time, it's a struggle. I mean, I guess I'm sort of talking in the context of post-harvest cover crops right now. For us, it's a matter of manpower, moisture availability, because sometimes there just is no rain. And if there is no rain and there's no rain in the forecast, it is a bad idea to seed cover crops, unfortunately. I mean, I would love to see them on every acre, but it's not an every acre, every year thing for us. It just isn't. We've learned that you've got to be pragmatic about cover crops, because you can't just seed and hope for the best. As far as full season cover crops, we'll take 1 or 2 quarters, 3 quarters maybe, depending on the year, maybe a section even, of our poor performing fields for whatever reason. Lots of times it's compaction related, so poor infiltration, maybe a weed problem, maybe a perennial weed problem we're struggling with, and that gives us sort of a whole season to work on it for whatever reason. That full season cover, we like to just kind of maximize our photosynthesis time of the year. And we've seen significant uptick in, if you can get 4 to 6 inches of growth, it doesn't look like much out there, but what's going on below ground is significant. One of the things we were seeing, and one of our concerns, and it still is a little bit to this day, has been like sort of the slow hardening that we've seen. With the adoption of no-till, obviously there's no tillage, and we think part of the problem with high synthetic fertility rates that we were seeing, we were losing structure, like we were losing soil aggregation, and we've seen an improvement in that since. Soil aggregation is super important for so many reasons. I mean, getting oxygen into the soil, because it's a biologically driven system. Biology can't thrive without oxygen, and we were seeing our systems collapse. I think partially that was due to high inclusions of legumes in rotation, high amounts of synthetic nitrogen were 2 of the things leading to that, and we've changed both of those, and we've been seeing improvements. Profitability is a funny one, because you'd asked about yields, and I know it's it's good for the ego and it's good for the coffee shop and all of those things, but I don't honestly care about yields. I just care about profitability. And that's something that I was able to get my head around years ago, luckily, and I was a high yielder. I was a maximizing production. That was it. And I don't know when I realized that maximizing production isn't nearly as fun as maximizing profitability. So I mean, we found the years we have our greatest success is the years that we're the most organized for it. And it's sort of a problem too, because you can only be so organized, and then the weather has to cooperate. So you can be as ready as you want, and if it's dry down 3 inches and there's no rain in the forecast, we wait. As this thing progresses, as we build resilience and we make our sponge larger, all of these things become easier. That's what we're trying to get to. That's what this whole thing's about, is resilience. It's better in the wet years and better in the dry years. And the thing about these practices is these practices help us on both ends of that spectrum.